You may find this shocking, but most entrepreneurs are not stuck because they're doing too little. It's exactly the opposite. They're stuck because they're doing too much and too much of the wrong things. We've all been sold the same story. If you want to scale, add more offers, more funnels, add more platforms, more content, add more people. And if you're wired like me, your brain loves that story. It loves ideas, options. It loves experiments. It gets bored when things feel too simple. But the people who truly break through, especially the growth-minded entrepreneurs I work with, they don't win by piling on more. They win and are successful by scaling through subtraction, by ruthlessly stripping away everything that dilutes their focus, their energy, and their field, so what's left can actually get some traction and take off. In this video, we're not just going to talk about the idea. I'm going to give you a super short results-producing audit and a 90-day focus challenge you can actually run with. If this already resonates and you want more conversations like this, make sure to subscribe and check the links in the description below. That's where you and I can connect and access the deeper resources I mentioned. All right, let's get into some specifics. This is for you if, on paper, you already look successful. If you're doing multiple 6 or 7 figures, you're smart, you care about your clients, you're growth-minded. Maybe you're spiritually inclined. You've taken all the courses and yet your business feels heavier than it should, and you have a lot of junk hanging around. You've got stuck like half-built funnels, old offers that technically still exist but which nobody's buying, content plans you never really followed, programs that you meant to come back to, a notes app full of brilliant ideas that you don't have the capacity to execute. From the outside, it looks like you're crushing it. On the inside, it feels like you're secretly running 5 different companies on top of each other, all with the same nervous system and within the same 24 hours. If that's you, you don't need more motivation. You don't need another tactic or another just be more consistent speech. You need different physics driving how you grow. You need to stop scaling by addition and start scaling by subtraction. Let's start with a simple self-diagnostic. You don't have to write this down now. Just notice how your body reacts when I ask you the questions. How many different offers are you technically selling right now? How many platforms are you trying to be active on? How many projects are sitting at 40%, 70%, maybe even 90% done, but they're not done? If you're like most awakened achievers, the answer is way more than your nervous system can cleanly carry. Now listen for the inner dialogue. Once I finish this new funnel, if I just added one more low ticket offer, I just need a few more content pieces, maybe another series, maybe a new lead magnet. That pattern, reaching for one more thing every time you feel stuck, I call it addition addiction. I have to say that slowly because if you say it fast, it gets messed up. It feels responsible. It feels like being a visionary. And every new project opens up a new loop in your nervous system. Every offer you could promote is another thing you feel bad about neglecting. Every half-built system sits in the back of your mind as, I really should finish that thing. You don't see this cost on a spreadsheet. You feel it as subtle anxiety, fragmented focus, and that sense that you're always being behind, even when you're working all the time. Addition addiction fractures your field. Your attention gets spread over a whole bunch of directions, and nothing receives enough energy so that it can go anywhere. Scaling by subtraction starts with admitting more is not a neutral term. Each extra thing that you add has an energetic and a strategic cost. If subtraction is the antidote to addition addiction, what are we subtracting toward? We subtract toward what I call the focus spine. You already know the 80-20 rule. If you haven't, you've been hiding under a rock. 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. In most established online businesses, it's even sharper than that. Look at the 20% of the 20%. That's 4%. And 4% of what you do creates most of your revenue, your growth, and genuine satisfaction. So here's the upgrade. I call it 80/20/1. That's 80/20/1. If you had to bet on just one configuration for the next 12 months, one flagship offer, a primary channel where people can discover you, and a conversion path from stranger to client to buyer, what would you bet on? Don't give me the cute answer. Give me the real one. The one you'd keep if I made you get rid of everything else. Which offer could credibly carry your revenue goals if you poured real attention into it? What channel could you become almost unavoidable on? Imagine being unavoidable on Facebook, on YouTube, if you stopped spreading yourself across 6 platforms. Which simple path from content to lead to client feels clean to you, not convoluted? That combination, one offer, one channel, one path. I call that your focus spine. Everything else in your business either supports the spine, great, keep it simple, or it competes with the spine, and that's where subtraction needs to begin. When your attention, your systems, and your energy are all wrapped up around a clear focus spine, your business stops feeling like 10 mismatched magic spells and starts feeling like one coherent ritual. You're not just doing a bunch of things to grow. You're making one clear offer to the field, and you're standing behind it. So here's a quick side note before we go to the audit. If you're seeing that your world is full of half-built funnels, too many offers, and no real focus spine, and you want experienced eyes on it, there's a link in the description below where you could drop me a note and tell me a bit about your situation. If it seems like a fit, we can connect and look at how I can help you apply scaling by subtraction directly to your business. So, all right, let's work through the 30-minute subtraction audit. Let's turn this into something you can actually do. Sometime in the next week, block out just 30 minutes. Start with a pen and paper or a blank document on your computer. The first step, make 3 lists. Don't overthink this. Just do a brain dump. Everything you're currently selling, everything you're actively building, and everything you're maintaining on a continual basis. Just a note, I start 3 lists on 3 separate pieces of paper, and as my brain gets ideas, I put the ideas in the right place. That's just the easiest way to do this. That's step 1. Then, for each of those line items, ask yourself this one question. What would I expect to happen if I stopped doing this for the next 30 days? Now be honest. If the answer is basically nothing important, you've found a subtraction candidate. You can get rid of that without worrying about what's going to happen. To make this more clear, look at your list through these 3 lenses. What's the dead weight? Dead weight is something that ties up capacity for no real benefit. Offers that almost never sell. Old programs you keep on the menu just in case. And content series that nobody's asking for. The next thing to look at are the energy leaks. So energy leaks simply consume your life force. Clients who drain you, even if they pay well. Standing calls you secretly dread, and the only reason they're on your calendar is because they're on your calendar. And projects that exist only because you're afraid to disappoint somebody who you told that that project was going to come to fruition one day, someday. And here's one more, and this one might be the hardest to understand. I call it vanity complexity. So vanity complexity makes your business, like you, it makes you look smart while it just confuses your prospects and your clients, and it very quietly burns your time and your energy. These are things like overbuilt, complicated funnels, clever automations that impress your inner strategist more than they help real buyers, and multiple, slightly different versions of the same offer. Your first round of subtraction does not have to be dramatic. It just pause or retire obvious dead weight. Patch the worst energy leaks and simplify the most obviously overbuilt systems. You're not shrinking your business. You're removing drag on it. You're not burning it down. You're making it lean and streamlined. You're freeing your nervous system so that it can finally support real growth, not constant firefighting. At a certain point, subtraction stops being a tactic and it starts becoming an identity choice. A lot of entrepreneurs cling to complexity because it feels safer to them. If I have more offers, more projects, if I have more irons in the fire, then I'm protected against something going wrong. And some of those things, one of those things has to hit. But complexity does not equal safety. It just keeps you too busy and too scattered. It keeps you from being really effective anywhere. Think of your attention like light. So right now, the light is kind of like a bright lamp. It's nice. It spreads a diffuse glow over everything, and it's comfortable, but it's not world changing. Now, when you subtract, you're not dimming the light. You're focusing it. You're focusing it tightly, and it's just like a laser beam. So a laser beam has the same amount of light, but a radically different, much stronger impact. So here's my invitation. Treat this as a personal 90-day ritual. For the next 90 days, choose one flagship offer to build around. Choose one primary channel to show up on, and choose one main conversion path that you're going to optimize. Run the 30-minute subtraction audit. Cut, pause, or postpone the projects that clearly don't serve that focus spine. Then, for 90 whole days, become the person who honors that choice. Design your calendar around it. Design your content around it. Design your magic and your rituals around it. And if you want support running this 90-day scaling by subtraction challenge, whether that's through coaching, tools, or my broader ecosystem, check the links in the description below. You'll find the simplest ways to connect with me and go deeper into this work. Watch what happens to your energy, your clarity, and yes, what happens to your revenue when your field is no longer fractured across too many directions. You don't become scalable by being everywhere to everyone on every platform. You become scalable by being undeniable in the one lane that actually matters for you. That's the alchemy of ruthless focus. That is scaling by subtraction. And your next 90 days, that can be the proof.